folks, Cylon Face Tarmac Terrorist here. You haven't seen me for a while. That's because I've been back at work doing punting on the river cam, and I've just finished a ridiculous week. The worst, or the busy, not the worst, but the busiest we've ever had, because the lockdown ended and then the sun came out and we're all completely knackered. So I wasn't around when the update for Automobilista 2 dropped at the weekend. So we've got the update to the game itself, and we've of course got the Racing USA pack. And there is so much to talk about, and I'm so overwhelmed. I've had a day off today and I've spent the day just going through everything and trying everything out, and it's absolutely amazing. So I'm just going to focus on one thing here, because there is, well, two things actually. There's two things I'm really pleased about. And that's the fact that the AI are now much better in the rain, so you can actually have changing weather sessions, you know, without the AI slowing down to a snail's pace when it rains. And also, the drafting has been, that's my phone going off in the background. If you can hear that, just ignore it. People are calling me all the time, too busy, haven't even got time to make videos. But I'm giving myself 30 minutes for me and you to have a look at this, what I've done. And I've got some viewers that are going to be loving this. Stu Man, if you're watching, check it out. We have Laguna Seca now. One of my favourite ever tracks. We have Laguna Seca. We've got real weather, but I'm not using the real weather. What I've set up is a 30-minute race. We're going to start with it a little bit cloudy, then rainy, then a storm, then some sunshine, just to show you how consistent the AI are over the full course of the race. And we're using one of the new DLC tracks, Laguna Seca, but we're also using one of the free new cars, the M4 GT4 BMW, which is bulked out the GT4 class, which have had a BOP update as well, and it's really helped them out. The McLaren's just not flying off down the straights anymore. It's much more equal. And there is, I've been detecting some lift-off oversteer in high-speed corners. Yeah, sorted that one out. Cool. It's still not exactly R Factor 2, but or ACC, but it's there, and it's a lot better. Now, this is qualifying. We're not going to bother with qualifying, so we'll skip right to the end. We've got them at 106 difficulty, the AI, with 70% aggression. Another thing that's happened is that they have, no, we don't want to restart. They've all got personalities now. And I must say that the AI, I've tried the AI with lots of different cars, and one thing I found, as well as all of that, they're also much better across the classes. So, you know, you can set them to a default of, say, 106 or whatever, and generally you're all right with all of them. There's still some are faster and some are slower, but it's much closer than it was. In terms of their range. Now, let's see, we've got 30 minutes, I reckon. I'll stick 20 laps of fuel in there. Let's get a pit strategy going on. We're going to want to have a tyre change, aren't we? So, let's have a look. Let's edit that. We want no fuel, not bothered with that, but we do want tyres, automatic by weather. That's now working as well now. It will actually change your tyres properly on the weather. Also, the tyres for the GT4s are working properly. They are wearing. Well, I haven't got a lot of time. I'm back to work tomorrow. Let's get straight to it. And we're in VR. Off we go. And immediately a Jeanette has gone off. There, I have noticed that every single time I've come to this track, the car at the back of the pack always goes off at that corner. That seems to just be a given. Maybe it's a bug. I have found a few bugs, but that's for another video. Just want to concentrate on this racing now. I've got the BMW on standard default setup, done nothing to it. Got a little bit of traction control and a little bit of ABS on the default of low. Nothing done to the setup at all. And I've really been enjoying this car. It's sort of, on corner exit, reminds me a little bit of the Clubsport BMW in R Factor 2. Of course, this is a different model. And it's just so great to be here at Laguna Seca in Automobilista 2. By Reza Studios, well done Reza, great update. And I'll tell you what, going down the corkscrew here in VR. Oh, back end just stepping out a little bit there. Getting very unsettled. We've got a Ginetta looking up our inside, and I've closed the door, and I'm accidentally sorry, mate. I've just clocked him. Need to pay a bit more attention here and be a little bit more careful. Another thing that's been sorted out, which I'm really happy about, is the drafting. I've always thought the drafting in Automobilista 2 was way too over-exaggerated. And now they've sorted that out. It's there, but it's much more the kind of draft you'd expect from, say, something like R Factor 2. It's previously, I felt, if you got in the draft of another car, it was a little bit like hitting a magic turbo button. It's just a bit too over-exaggerated. Now, just fine. Oh, putting a wheel out on the curb there, which has allowed the Ginetta to come past. One thing I would describe the AI as at the moment are tenacious. They are very tenacious. You leave a gap and they'll go for it. And I'm so impressed with the work that's been done. The AI, they are just... Oh, there goes... Oh! Woo! Very close to the Chevrolet there. He's gone past. And Jeanetta's just flown past me there. Followed by a BMW. Can we get that place back from the BM? Yes, he's still there, but we've got past him. Automobilista 2, of course, running absolutely beautifully in VR. Such a great game to use in VR. Car's feeling great. As I remember with a few of these smaller BMWs, they are sort of understeering on corner entry. Unless you dab a little bit of brakes on there. I can already see the weather is starting to change. It's getting a bit grey in the sky. There's the raindrops now appearing on the window. And like I said, I've had a day off work. I've been working absolutely non-stop, flat out on the River Cam in Cambridge. But the races I've had today, these AI are fantastic. I've seen some of the most impressive AI racing I think I've ever seen. You know, I really would say in comparison to my other favourite sims, these are just getting so phenomenally good. And they're not infallible. They do make the odd mistake. They do seem to have a little bit more character than they used to as well, with these individual personalities or virtual personalities that they've been given. I've noticed, you know, some drivers are a little bit more aggressive than others. Some aren't so good with the apexes. Some are. It's really, you know, they're not real people. They're still AI, but my God, they're impressive. Very impressive. And that BM's got through there. I've let him through. I wonder if I get that place back. So previously, where's my wipers? When it started to rain like this, in previous builds, I pretty much knew that if I was racing AI and it started to rain, well, I just didn't run races where it changed from sun to rain, because if I did, I knew that as soon as it started to rain, that was it. Basically, I'd won the race, because they would just seem to lose about 15% of their skill in the rain. As you can see now, we're all slowing down, but they're not slowing down to a point where you think they've suddenly become, you know, lost half of their horsepower and driving brain. And I think I'm in last place, where I belong, of course. Right, gotta try harder. But this just proves it's now raining and I'm down to last place. I have got them at 106, which is about as high as I can go with them. Especially at the moment, I'm not getting any practice. I'm working so many hours a day, it's ridiculous. I leave the house at near enough 7 in the morning and do not get home sometimes until 11:30. So it's great to have a day off and enjoy what Reeser have just given us. I say given us, of course, some of the content like this track is DLC, so you have to buy it. However, I bought the season pass early on, and that's a decision that I have never regretted. So, but good news for those of you who do not have the DLC. Now, if you go online and someone is using a track that you don't have, you can still race with them, because they've made the DLC available for multiplayer. If you go on to, say if you were racing with some cars you didn't have, you can only race the cars you own, but you can race against the cars that you don't own online, and they are pitting. So they'll be going for the wet tyres already, something I should think about doing soon. It's really coming down now, and try and keep on that dry line. Also, if you want to see some, you know, I've only got time to make this one video today, but if you want more opinions, go and check out Mike over at Sim Racing 604. I think he's already done about 2 videos on this. I know he's loving it. And must just say to Mike, you left me a lovely comment just recently on one of my videos, and I wanted to thank you very much for that. Cheers, mate. Do go watch Mike's stuff. Steelcast 27 has got videos going up. Oh, and there we go. I'm off. Now, this is me paying for not getting those tyres changed sooner. So, oh, don't want to blow my engine down. I'm driving terribly, I must admit. Let's schedule a pit stop. There we go. Schedule a pit stop and see if I can catch up. You can really feel where the grip is now on the track, you know, on the dry line compared to the wet. It's all getting so much more dynamic, and of course also within the update we now have things like so real road presets, just like you do in R-Factor 2. So you can start off with a dry track or a wet track, or, you know, more rubber, less rubber, that sort of thing. It's so tight to get in here. There we go, get this tyres changed, boys. So this is going to take a good 20 seconds, I think. Possibly 25. I'm going with 28. I'm going with 28 seconds. We're at 18 seconds on the pit stop, 20 seconds. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 25.7, not too far off. So let's just check. Yes, we've got our wet tyres now. There are the other cars coming out of the pits in front. Now I've got to see if I can catch up with them. Might give myself, just seeing as it's so wet, just get the anti-lock brakes and traction control on high, get on that pit speed, leave it off. And off we go. I feel the ABS kicking in there because Automobilista 2 does actually output signals for ABS. So the motor system that I've got on the back of my pedal, every time the ABS kicks in, is making my brake pedal vibrate like it would in a real car. I'm also on full damage. Currently, I really do think this is one of the best sims for damage. There was recently on Race Department an article with one of the developers from Kunos, one of the developers of Assetto Corsa Competizione, another sim which I love, but I do think this has better damage, and I do remember the developer saying that they weren't going to concentrate on making more realistic damage because they didn't think it was anything people wanted in the sim racing community, and pretty much every reply to that comment I've seen over at Race Department from sim racers said, hang on a minute mate, yes we do want more realistic damage. And I totally agree with that. So I'm loving the fact that it has such good damage and consequences. Once that gets coupled with the multiplayer ranking system, which I know we're all really looking forward to. It's not in this update, but it is coming. It'll make for some really good racing online. And the fact that you can, you know, race with content that you don't own stops the sim from being split into the haves and have-nots, so everyone can race everything. And if you want to race it offline, you buy it. But that makes for better online racing. And of course, also, you can try content before you buy it. How good is that? We're probably stuck behind this BM here. It's just hard to get purchase as I get out of the corner there because he was on the slightly dry line, I was on the slightly wetter, but we've outbraked him into the corner. So we're in 28th place now. 28th place, I thought we've got two cars behind us. How did I do that? But it is really coming down now. I keep mentioning the dry line, that's becoming practically non-existent now. And we are catching up. I think that, gone very well. I think that third weather slot, storm slot, has probably kicked in by now. The sky over there is fantastic. Oh, and that ABS is just working like crazy to stop this car sliding. Glad I put that extra bit of traction control on as well. Although, as you can see, there's still room for a little bit of slip. This game looking and feeling absolutely fantastic. What a day off. I have tried the new tracks, Daytona and Long Beach as well. I know Long Beach, everyone is very excited to have in the game. They're absolutely great. I've tried all the cars. Do love the Porsche. The DPI Cadillac as well. Ooh, what a machine. So I'm assuming now all of the cars would have pitted, so we'll all be on the works. See how well we can do. Like I said, there's so much better paced in the rain now. Still not perfect. They still do slow down a little bit in the rain. but I find as soon as I think that, I'll maybe get one overtake, and they'll come back at me. They seem to have, they seem much more like they have slow laps and fast laps now as well between the drivers, which is something that R Factor 2's always been quite good at. The drivers will have their fast laps. Oh my word! BMW just hit a curb on the right hand side, sending right up on two wheels. Fantastic stuff. I don't know if it did hit a sausage curb though. I don't know if there was a. I remember there being a sausage curb there. Have to check the replay. Possible bug if it's just hit a normal flat curb. But he's now stuck behind the white BMW there. Is he going to go through me? I better turn my lights on actually. Oh! Hard on the brakes there, stop paying attention for a second. Going down the corkscrew in VR. Feel it in the pit of your stomach. Right, time we made our move. If he's not going to make a move on the white BMW there, I am. Oh! Whoa! I've just gone into him. I did make a bit of a dive there. My fault. Okay. We have managed to outbrake them. Go around this amazing track, the gem of Monterey. The whole track is built on an old, dried up lake bed. That's why you've got these amazing elevation changes. Ah, and I've gone very wide! I did not want to do that! They've got their places back. See the lights of another car coming in behind me, and the sky is brightening up, I think. Yes, the sky is brightening up. We're in 27th place. So, if you're wondering what the racing, the offline racing at least, is like in Automobilista 2 at the moment, this is what it's like. I really am enjoying this sim. Even though I've hardly had any time to play it, or any of the others as well. I must say though, very much enjoying the new updates to Sebring for R Factor 2. If you haven't seen that, go and have a look at that. They have updated Sebring with their PBR shaders. I know there's been a little hot fix for ACC as well. And the rain is stopping. By the way, I must just point out, if you think any of these weather transitions are a little bit too quick, it is because I've got them synced to race. So they can go through all of those 4 weather slots through the course of this short 30-minute race. So some of the transitions will be slightly exaggerated. I've got to keep my windscreen wipers on, because even though I think it stopped raining, I'm still getting a lot of spray from the cars in front. These two really battling it out here, and the black BMW he is making his move on the white BMW, but couldn't quite make it stick around the outside there. They're side by side. Oh, just touching. Bit of door rubbing going on there as we get out on the curb. Got very nervous there, thought I might lose it. Went too far out on the curb. Oh, and almost ended up in a dive there. Went on the wet side of the track, and there's just not so much grip there. You can hear the ABS kicking in there, getting away from me. I'm trying to stay on this dry line, but I've gone out on the wet stuff. This dry line that is now appearing. And look at that. Sky's brightening out. Sun is coming out. Anyone, by the way, that's left comments on my channel, I haven't been able to reply to any of you. I'm sorry. That is because whilst I've been at work, I can watch YouTube on my phone, but my phone is a bit screwed, so I can't make comments or reply to any of mine. It's a long story. I only do phone, so I can only do it when I get back on the computer, and I've just not been here. But to come back, the whole weekend I've been looking forward to this. And it's not let me down. Yes! So both the black BMW and I now have made it past white BMW there. We go up the hill towards the corkscrew. Oh, and I didn't need to change there. Can we outbrake? No, he's not giving us too much room. They don't give up. They are tenacious. Right, get rid of those wipers. And I've gone wide. The white BMW's coming back. He's taking the place. Great battling there. Nearly got a warning there. They'd have two wheels on the inside of the curb. So here we go. There's the drafting now. It's still there. It's just, oh no! Braked a bit too late. I was drafting him. I did get a bit of a tow. But anyway, the drafting is so much more as I'd expect now. But can we get this place back? I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight for this place now. Track really nice and drying out now. Come to think of it, I should have thrown maybe a day to night transition into this, but I'm really looking forward to coming home on my days off and being able to just jump into any race, stick it to real weather and the time of day that it actually is when I go onto the race, and, you know, just turn up to a track and the weather is what the weather is in the real world there. Of course we've got the real weather now, so that the real forecast at whatever track's actual geographic location is what dictates what the weather is on your virtual track in Automobilista 2. How cool is that? And also there's all the historic weather as well. So there's 40 years worth of historic weather presets in there as well. Absolutely unbelievable what they've done. I've got the ABS on high, but I haven't set the ABS to full on the setups, because of course they've now changed that from percentages to numbers. So I haven't got that kicking in fully, so you can still get a bit of slip, not too much, as we have a little bit of a left to right wobble there. How are we doing? 25th place. It's so good now that I can, you know, just set up a race with changing weather, and the AI are now usable. It's so good. take my word for it. Do go and look at people like Mike at Sim Racing 604, Steel Cast 27. I'm sure there's other videos out there as well that I haven't seen. Maybe Gamer Muscle done something. Maybe Mr. Broadbent's done something. I know he's busy at the moment with his real racing. Lucky devil. Oh, and there we go. I'm getting a message saying slow car. So I wonder what's happened. Yeah, there is and I've gone completely wide. Oh, it's still wet on the outside of the track. So yeah, I've just lost that place now. All the work it took to get that. I've got the white BMW coming up behind as well. Looking straight out my side window. I love racing in VR. Actually look through those corners. But I'm getting so carried away. I'm not concentrating on my racing at all. Making a real mess of things. And I've just realised I'm still on wet tyres on a dry track now. So the question is, will they be pitting dry tyres again? This is another thing that seems to have made quite a lot of difference, or it's changed. The tyres now are working properly. The slicks don't just carry on gripping too well in the rain. It's much better now. The wets act as they should do. And as I said, the GT4s after the last update they weren't wearing at all, and now they are. As you can see from my readout, I don't know if you can see that on your screen there, but my readout's telling me I've got slightly worn tyres and they're getting hot as well. Can't see any other cars pitting for dries, but that's good because looking at the clock here, I've got 1 minute and 30 seconds left. And I think they did say something in the change logs about stopping the AI from pitting for tyres if it's very close to the last lap or two of the race. Obviously you wouldn't want that happening, because if you decided strategically not to pit, you'd instantly win the race. So that's just another great thing. And I can't believe this race. This is fantastic. It's just fantastic. The track looks amazing. And I can feel everything on it, but as far as I know, to be honest with you, I really don't know if these were laser scanned or not. They feel like they are. I think some of that laser scan data may have come from Project Cars 2. I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that. So, like I said, I usually have time to do a lot of research, but now that I'm back at work, I just don't have the time. I certainly don't mind making a half hour free for this on my day off. This is just fantastic. Can I get this BMW back? Yes! And I've got the corner now, so I don't mind. Oh no! He's still coming back! He's coming back! We're neck and neck, side by side! Oh! Oh! I've just slightly lost it. I went on the sand there, and I've come back in and just clonked this side, just a bit of door rubbing. I'm not giving up. Another thing that I haven't mentioned, the sounds. Oh, the sounds. They have updated the sound, so now you've got a real differential between the sound of your tyres scrubbing and your sound of your tyres in a full-on skid. It's fantastic. Really helps as well knowing if you're just on the limit or over it with those sounds. The curb sounds are new, they sound fantastic. The only thing I would say is that the scrubbing sound in the wet in some cars can be, maybe the levels need bringing down a bit, as it's quite loud. But then again, it would be, but I think it might just be a touch too loud. It's a very fine thing. And we seem to have really just caught up in this last couple of laps. How are we doing? 25th place. Oh! Gave it a little bit too much welly there. And I'm surprised we seem to... That overtake seemed a little bit too easy. Ah, there we go. So 24th place. I think the number 7 BMW there may have just sort of had a bad lap. But that... Oh, that was just fantastic, folks. If you've not got the Racing USA pack, but you've got Automobilista 2, get online, try it for free, go on to one of the multi-class servers that's got it, try it for free. I'd highly recommend it. I have never regretted buying the season pass for this fantastic sim. There's so much in it now, it's just... You know, it reminds me quite a bit of GTR 2 because it's got a bit of everything. It's got good damage, it's got good physics. I know some people have a problem with its physics, but I think they're pretty damn decent physics. Really decent damage, really decent graphics, sounds, car classes and tracks and the weather system, you know, as well. And with a full ranking system, it really is shaping up to be one hell of a good all-round sim, and it's certainly given me something to sweat about on my day off. It is very hot here at the moment. The weather has got hot here in Norfolk, as it has done in Cambridge, and yeah, that racing has made me sweat, and I'm happy about that. Right, folks, God, I'm gonna find some more things to enjoy about this, and cheers everyone, all the best.